The school closed 10 years ago, but her footsteps still echo after midnight. No one remembers her name. No one dares speak it. They say she's still roaming the halls, waiting for the final bell that never rang. The gates of St. Delora High had rusted shut years ago. Locals said the government closed it for safety reasons. Cracks in the walls, asbestos, electrical issues. But the truth hung heavier in the air than mold and dust. They said the school was haunted. A group of YouTube explorers calling themselves Ghost Crawl thought it was the perfect clickbait. Armed with flashlights, night vision, and cocky attitudes, they cut the chain on the back entrance and stepped inside. The hallway welcomed them with silence. Not just quiet, but that thick, suffocating kind that wraps around your ribs and slows your breath. Lockers lined the corridor like tombs. Most were dented, scratched, or half open. "Smells like wet death," one of them muttered. And then they saw it, scrawled on the chalkboard in faded red. "I was here. I'm still here." A nervous laugh. Probably a prank. The team split up, as all idiots in horror stories do. Cameras on, flashlights flickering. Every hallway looked the same, long, narrow, with classroom doors that creaked open just a little too easily. Tyler, the leader, walked toward room 108. That's when he saw her. A girl in a faded school uniform stood at the far end of the hallway, back turned, black hair limp and tangled, skin pale as old paper. "Hey!" he called out, half laughing, half shaking. "You part of the act?" She didn't respond. She twitched, like her body skipped a frame. And then, step by step, she moved, not walking, but gliding silently toward him. Tyler backed up. "Guys, this isn't funny anymore." Radio static, then nothing. The hallway behind him stretched longer than it had before. The exit was gone. The girl was closer. Her face was wrong, blurred, melting. Her mouth opened, but the sound wasn't human. It was a bell. A long, droning school bell that rang in his ears like screaming steel. That was the last thing the camera caught before it went black. 2 days later, the Ghost Crawl channel uploaded a 7-second clip by itself. No title, no edit, just the dark hallway and a distant voice whispering, "Present? I'm still present." No one in the town mentioned the Ghost Crawl crew after that night. Their channel remained frozen, subscribers dropping. The video stayed online, untouched. Just that hallway, that bell, that whisper. But Ava, a junior at the new school across town, couldn't stop thinking about it. Her older brother had followed Ghost Crawl obsessively. He knew the lore. The girl in the hallway wasn't just a ghost. She had a name once. Her name was Marla Jenick. Ava dug into the archives. The town library had old yearbooks and yellowed newspapers on microfilm. No one had talked about it in years, especially not the tragedy. In 1995, a girl named Marla was marked absent for 3 weeks straight. Her parents assumed she'd run away. Teachers whispered about home trouble. Her locker was cleared, her desk emptied, but she never left the building. A single article, buried on page 9, told the real story. Janitor found body in storage closet. Girl identified as student Marla Jenick. The cause of death? Unknown. Officially, suicide. Unofficially, sealed. But Ava kept digging. She found a record no one was supposed to see. Marla's last written assignment. A crumpled, water-damaged essay stored in a plastic sleeve deep in the archives. Some kids think the school bell means you can go home, but some of us never get picked up. Some of us have to stay after, and if no one notices you're gone, you just stay. Forever. At the bottom, A teacher had scribbled and read, "Absent again. Please see me after class." And then nothing. Ava returned to the ruins of St. Delora alone. She had to see it, to prove something. She entered just after midnight, stepping over the broken tiles, brushing past graffiti. The hallway felt colder than it should have. She whispered, "Marla, I know your name." The lights flickered. One by one, old lockers creaked open down the hall, and from room 108 came a slow, dragging sound. Ava should have run. She didn't. A girl stepped into the hallway wearing the same uniform as Marla's yearbook photo. She looked almost alive, but her eyes were wrong, hollow. Ava's breath caught. Marla didn't speak. She pointed. Down the hallway, toward the old storage closet, the one they'd found her in.
Ava's feet moved on their own, like something unseen had wrapped invisible fingers around her ankles and dragged her toward the door. The storage closet at the end of the hallway waited, unchanged for decades. The paint had peeled, the wood had swollen from moisture, but it was still locked until now. Click. The knob turned easily in Ava's hand. The smell hit first. Old wood, mold, something that was never properly cleaned. Inside, the air was still. At the center, beneath a broken light bulb, sat a small chair, and beside it, a faded school satchel. On the wall behind it, carved deeply into the plaster, were rows and rows of tally marks, hundreds of them, each one a day she was forgotten. Ava whispered, "I'm sorry." She turned. Marla stood in the doorway. No longer a girl, something else now. Her face flickered between sorrow and rot, like a signal barely coming through. She didn't scream. She didn't attack. She just waited. "I know what they did to you," Ava said, tears in her eyes. "You were never absent. You were just ignored." Marla stepped closer. Her voice was paper thin. "I waited. Every day for the bell to ring, for someone to notice." And then the hallway erupted in sound, the long, distorted clang of the final school bell. But this time, it was different. It was ending. Ava grabbed Marla's cold, broken hand. "You're not forgotten anymore." Marla's eyes softened. For the first time in decades, her expression shifted from lost to free. The lights flickered once more. When Ava opened her eyes, she was alone. The closet was empty. The tally marks were gone. So was the satchel. And the hallway, no longer cold. The door creaked behind her, but it wasn't the school. She turned and found herself outside, standing under the broken arch of St. Delora's gate. The sun was rising. She had made it out. But behind her, just as the light touched the bricks, she saw one final thing scratched into the school wall. Fresh, like it had been waiting for her. Present. Moral of the story? Some spirits don't linger because they're angry. They stay because they were forgotten, ignored, marked absent while they were crying for help. And sometimes all it takes to set them free is for someone to finally see them.